Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Gore Column, in which we take the time to speak with small cap companies, see what's going on with their companies. Guys, if you're bullish on cannabis, or more importantly, if you're looking for a great cannabis company that's bucking the trend of all the majors that are losing money, losing revenue, not growing, in other words, big hat, no cattle, you're going to love this interview today with Quizam and our friend Russ Rossi, the CEO over there, trades in Canada under QQ. For friends in the US, QQQFF. If you haven't guessed it by now, they're a leading licensed cannabis retailer with triple-digit growth in Western Canada. Specifically, revenues for the year end, May 31st, $6.9 million versus $4 million the year before, 72.5% increase. And then Q1 ending August, $1.9 million, up against over the year last year with positive cash flow, and they're projecting $10 million in revenue for this fiscal year. Here to talk about is Russ. Welcome back, my friend.
Hey, George, how you doing? Talk is cheap,
listen, I'm doing
whiskey costs money, George.
What's that?
I said talk is cheap, but whiskey costs money. In this case, okay, cannabis costs money.
We'll talk because we can't do any whiskey over. But I should send you a Gorcom whiskey, and we'll do that next time on.
I love it. Virtually. I love it, man. I find that if you drink whiskey every day, you'll get tired of it after 80 years.
As a Greek, I take offense to that because I say ouzo instead of whiskey, but we'll debate that another time. Hey, you're bucking the trend. Let's talk about, and I didn't mention, you got another great division as well, but cannabis is the focus. Let's talk about the fact that before we get to the numbers, how are you guys bucking the trend? Because we know the cannabis industry has been decimated, losses everywhere, no growth. What are you guys doing different? What makes you guys so great, man?
Well, you know, I mean, I've had a couple of people comment on that in the last 2 weeks because our last quarter results were cash positive, really, really exciting. Our revenues are up. And I go back and I think, you know, what is different about our company compared to the other ones that have been decimated? And the biggest thing is we have no debt, and we don't have any monkeys on our back that are causing problems for us in terms of cash flow and, loan payments or interest payments. And I think that's because our model, we've been in business for many years in other divisions, but we manage our risk. I mean, we have a whole risk department, and I'm careful all the time to make sure that we manage our risk. And that is helped us to become, number one of the largest in Vancouver in terms of retail sales, and profitable. So I think these other companies, and I don't want to name a bunch of companies, but you look at a lot of big cannabis companies, they've either gone bankrupt or their stock's been rolled back 20 to 1 3 times, and none of them are making any dough because they bought and bought and bought and bought, and then all of a sudden, when it came time to pay the piper, they didn't have any revenues to do so, and they had these huge monster loans to take care of, and
2 years ago, Russ, you might have been criticized saying, Russ, you're not growing fast enough. You got to be borrowing money from George. You got to expand. Let's go. And you said, hey, I'm not going to borrow money. This is what I loved about you guys, your management team. You didn't borrow money to go overpay. Whereas other companies kill themselves 2 ways. George Calm Cannabis, borrowing money, and then I was overpaying. So now I've got a big debt on my books, and the asset that I bought, I overpaid for, so it's not giving me much return on the money that I borrowed anyways. Now you guys in the catbird seat, where do you go from here?
Well, I mean, we're using our capital to expand our services. We're looking at acquisitions. We're basically we'll be looking. We've toyed around with the idea of a dividend. I mean, let's look. We've had 1 quarter of great results. So don't forget, we bought one of the operations we did buy for $1 million. We had to pay for it a cash flow. We did 1 year paid. So I mean, let's build our treasury. Let's build our reserves, and then we're going to look at buying the stock back and/or doing dividends.
Nice.
and growing revenue. And so far, we've been really, really solid. We originally had 8 licenses, and we closed the offices that weren't making money. This is, you got to look at it as a business, okay? And if you're not making money after 18 months, let's get out, okay? And we did. We closed them down responsibly. In some cases, we had to buy. We bought the buildings, canceled the leases, and sold the buildings. So just we get out of these leases. And now we're left with 4 operations that are profitable, and we have our eye on 3 more that could double our revenue. So we wouldn't be doing 10 million a year; we'd be doing 20 million. Our EBITA in some of our offices are like approaching 28%. I think our cannabis average.
How's that relative, Russ, to the rest of the industry? If you benchmark that, What,
I think
what's the rest of the
everyone else
industry
I
doing?
talked to is like 15, 16.
So you're almost
Okay.
double.
Yeah, we run a tight operation. Every month we sit down, we look at our numbers, whatever. I mean, our biggest expenses, you know, aside from the cost of product, cannabis, is our rent, our variable expenses, and staff expenses. So the managers actually get bonuses based on what percentage of their staffing costs are. So they watch that very carefully. You know, I mean, that's the thing that can balloon and get out of hand. So our staffing costs are very respectful. We have customer loyalty programs. We have all different kinds of sales. We have, you know, like Sativa Sunday, where you can get sativa at a discount. I mean, we have a whole Christmas box gift campaign this December. This is for Christmas.
Of course.
Those are
not for
flying off the
Valentine's
shelves.
Day.
Yeah, so you can come in for $25 and you can buy buy a little cannabis basket for your friend, for your mother, impress your friends at parties, whatever you like.
I
We're
want
here
to go
for
back
you.
to the M&A part, because you said we're looking at acquisitions,
Yeah.
which is something George Calm Cannabis and the industry were doing 2-3 years ago. We've said that overpaid.
Yeah.
Now you look at M&A. I've got to assume, but I want to hear it from you, and I think the world wants to hear it from you, that valuations have come down significantly, that you can make some great acquisitions that are immediately accretive.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, our market cap was based on 20 times revenue, right? And now market caps are based on, you know, half revenue. I mean, it's unbelievable what the cannabis market caps are, because everyone's got so nervous. Because if you look at the top 5 that were big 2 years ago, they've all cratered. Okay, so people are licking their wounds, but I think that'll change. Everything changes. Like Warren Buffett says, you know, whenever stocks are undervalued, there's an opportunity. People always buy. You should buy against the trends and hold. That's how you make dough. It hasn't changed for 50 years, but a lot of people don't believe
that. On the capital markets side, I think cannabis is going through a catharsis because of everything we just talked about. But talk to me about the actual business itself, demand, consumer acceptance. Let's talk about that for everybody. What does the macro picture look like on the business operation side in general for the industry? I know you guys are doing great, but is the trend still there? You know,
I think it's gonna be the same as liquor. I mean, liquor has been around forever. The private liquor stores do well in British Columbia. In other provinces, not so well. I mean, the business is kind of based on territorial protection, and in BC we have that. So different communities have different protection laws in place, which means, you know, our cannabis shops, nobody can open up within a certain distance of ours, and so we have protection, and that helps us be strong, helps us be able to hire more people, and gives us you know, a healthy business. And the government in BC is very cognizant of that. You look at other provinces like Toronto, which has been like a sine wave. At first they had protection, then they didn't have protection, then they had protection, now they got no protection. So what happens is, I think it's almost impossible in Toronto, let's say, to get a really, really healthy business, because the second you have a healthy business, somebody opens up across the street. You got 4 people basically cannibalizing your business. Same thing happened in Alberta. So, and if you look at the liquor business, it's the same thing. But this is a demand that's not going away. I still think that a lot of business is being in the black market, which we're slowly depleting. We're slowly chewing away at. I wouldn't be surprised if most of our increase in sales, which happens every month, every quarter, is because of we're slowly eroding the black market. Slowly,
well, there are real safety issues
realizing
out there, right? The safety issue, fentanyl is killing a lot of
convenience,
people. We know that a lot of
safety,
cannabis
choice,
is laced with that.
SKUs, service. I mean, I can go on. I mean, how many times you want to call your dealer up and meet in a corner, or you go by his time? You have these stores now. We have lots of SKUs. I mean, we have like, you know, over 500 SKUs in our big stores. And you come in, you got a big choice shopping basket, and you see exactly what the THC is, what the CBD is. It's very, very controlled. It's very safe. It's very consistent. So in the end, might pay a bit more, but it by far will check. We'll check the costs of having to deal with a dealer, which could be inconsistent, could be inconvenient, could be
dangerous,
illegal.
You talk about illegal. You talk about your valuation earlier. Let's return to that. We know we're not giving everyone financial advice. We're not giving everyone buying advice or something like that. But I want to hear your thoughts on your valuation, because I think, my opinion, it's clearly a case of baby being thrown out the bathwater, because the entire cannabis industry is getting kind of washed out. And that happens. It happened to Amazon, you know, when their stock went down to $2 back during the .com crash, even though they had a pretty solid business. What do you say? And again, I want to be careful. We're not going to give valuations, but let's talk about some metrics there, why you think there's a disconnect between, you know, Quizam's actual results and market valuation right now.
You know, I was actually watching a video of Warren Buffett talking about Stephen Jobs about 10 years ago. And Stephen Jobs came to him before Apple had really taken off with with a smartphone and all the music business. And he said, Warren, I'm thinking about buying some more of my stock. Think I should? And Warren said, well, the question is simple. Is the market valuation less than what you think the value of the company is? That's the answer. And I laughed because I thought, holy cow, is that ever the case with cannabis companies right now? Okay. So right now, on the private side, with a company that is doing, you know, our cannabis is approaching 2 million a year in profit, has a market value. If I were to sell it, I mean, we have had offers for you know, $8 million, $9 million to buy the cannabis business. Personally, I think I wouldn't sell it for under 12 million. So let's say so we got a business that's worth 12 million. Okay, but on the public company side, our valuation is 1.5 million. So we are undervalued by almost 8 times. And if you check out the insider reports, I'm probably one of the biggest buyers of the stock. I buy stock. I mean, I just bought, I mean, this week, what did I buy? The insider report will be filed today, but I probably bought another 1 million shares. Okay. And even on the market, I bought some. So when the CEO is constantly buying stock, what else can I say? You make your own judgment, right? But I'm not an idiot. And I mean, when I see, you know, personally, if I could buy the whole company, what are we trading at? 5 or 6 cents? If I could buy the whole company for 5 cents, I would. I mean, but I don't think I could. I mean, the second you try to do that, people.
But the fact that you put your money where your mouth is.
But it's like I'm putting
everything.
The more I can own of this company, the better, because it's ludicrous that we can be doing these numbers, these profits, and the stock has a market cap of 1.5. Personally, that makes the sellers not look so shrewd.
Now, if we ended the interview right there, we'd say, hey, great business, outstanding results for the year, Q1, can't wait to see what else happens. Great, undervalued, let's follow this. Everyone would walk away happy and saying, this is a great interview. We found something great. But what a lot of people don't know is you've got this e-learning side. And this isn't some little orphan like, oh yeah, we have this little e-learning side. It's a platform. It's an e-learning platform for business individuals. And you're the #1 training provider for Microsoft 365, Adobe Creative Cloud, 3,000 customers, B2B, which translates about 82,000 seats, users, whatever you want to call it. That's a significant side of the business that you're buying for free within the cannabis, within this umbrella. Let's talk about that business, what it is, without boring people about every detail. But more importantly, you know, I would start to think that's got to be a spinoff at some point, because it's not getting its due. Let's talk about that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, On Track has been around for 15 years. We're the #1 computer training company in the early days. Now we're corporate training. And during COVID, we kind of went to sleep a little bit. We're like a sleeping giant, because customers had their staff at home. Customers had closed down their offices. You know what COVID did. So we kind of went to sleep as well. But meanwhile, we went to work with our programmers. We didn't lay anybody off. We worked on our new online training platform called ontracktv.com. I'm telling you, this is an amazing platform that can work phenomenally on cell phones, on desktops, so easy to upload content. And On Track TV has just reemerged. It's now live in the beta version, and it'll be 100% ready for the new year. We have corporations wanting it. We have different employee groups wanting it to upgrade their skills in Excel and Access and Word, as well as you know, other computer skills. But we also have soft skills. But what COVID has done is it has made everybody super comfortable with Zoom, like we're doing right now. Okay, and in the old days, we couldn't get people on computers, so we're now reaching out. We're doing work for the Edmonton government, the Toronto government, the Alberta government, Ontario government, California. We're now training people online with students. So now 22 students log in all over the world. And sometimes we're trained 24 hours. Sometimes instructors come on at midnight Vancouver time, and they train till 6 in the morning. So this has given us huge reach, and we're just waking up right now. You haven't seen the ring of this. We did 2 years ago, we did 200,000. Last year we did 500,000. This year we'll do 1 million just on the Zoom training. And
so the 6.9 million that you did last year, about 500 of that came from
100%. Yes, 100%.
Wow. Okay,
that's the global. I mean, the potential of online learning, both taped on our platform and live using Zoom, is explosive. it's nitroglycerin in the training industry.
Yeah, like, and if you've done 500 and you're on your way to 1 million, I'm going to chime in here with a little bit of my 2 cents of expertise in how the world works. But you're beyond, hey, George, I got this great idea. I'm going to start this on track. I'm going to do some corporate training. I think it might turn into something. You're there. So I've always said, if a business can get to $1 million in revenue, it can get to 100 million. I'm not saying for anybody at home it's going to get to 100 million, but it means you are proof of concept. You've proven it. You've gotten, now it's just a case of how good you guys are at scaling. If all goes well with On Track, with that side, the e-learning side, does it become a spin out one day? Because they're just too, I know there's some.
Of course,
overlap.
100% yes, 100% yes. We could do a platinum arrangement. We could do a spin out. End up having 2 companies, and all the shareholders end up with equal shares in 2 companies. I mean, this, in terms of hedging your bet, in terms of risk control, this is a great investment. I mean, that's why I'm buying more and more shares. And my friends and family are buying shares too. We're in the IT business, which has now become more educational IT, which is hugely explosive. And we're in the cannabis business, which has been around for, I don't know, couple hundred years, 1,000 years. They found some cave dwellers apparently that had some cannabis in the stores, like in their cave stores. You got a business that you're getting, it's like the old Wrigley Spearmint twins. You're getting two bangs for one, and it's unbelievable. So 2 bangs for your buck for one. And yeah, I love it. I love the space. I love the potential. And I love the current economic climate, which coming out of COVID has now introduced many, many opportunities for us.
There's also the other last monster intangible benefit that comes out of that, which means we get Russ twice now if there's a spin out.
100%.
The cannabis company, so
yeah.
we'd be seeing you twice as much.
And for our platinum users like you could attend all of your in-house class training where we hotbox the classroom with cannabis. So it's a very fulfilling experience. The whole class is hotboxed with cannabis flowing, and we teach you Excel spreadsheets for 2 hours.
If you have a course to train people in interviews, you know I'm going to be your first customer. And I want, but congratulations, Russ. Listen, I'm glad. The reason why we're having fun when a lot of other small caps are not having fun is because it was just a bad year, business wise, everything wise. But look, the numbers say it again: $6.9 million in revenue, up 72% year over year. First quarter, 1.9 million, on your way to 10 million for the year. Look, that Amazon went down to $2 or $6 when the .com got crushed back in the day. But we all knew it was a great business. And I think, again, I'm not trying to tell the world you're the next Amazon, but valuation will catch up as long as you have real business. If you're GeorgeCom Cannabis and e-learning platform, I got nothing going on, then you're going to die. But if you're Quizam with 6.9 million rev and all that going on with both sides, valuation will eventually catch up to you. And I can't wait to have you back, my friend.
George, thanks so much. It's Friday. I'm super encouraged now. Let me go meet with all my team leaders and tell them how encouraged I am so I can get them motivated for a great Friday. And by the way, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, however you celebrate, because I'm super pumped after this. Every time I talk to you, George, you should be an inspirational, motivational speaker, because I'm pumped now. I'm ready to go.
Hey, if I got you pumped, all kidding aside, that's a big deal. But congrats, man, to you and your team. I love how light you are, but the fact of the matter is behind that is a very serious business, a CEO, a very serious businessman with a very serious business team, because you don't get to these results without it. So if you're able to do both, Russ.
Hey, you know what? I tell you something.
Tom Brady of small cap.
My background is math and physics, okay? And it's really funny because I remember in grade 12, Mr. Spence, my physics honors class, he goes, Lord Kelvin said that if you don't know it in numbers, you don't know it. And I remember I was asking him something, and he asked me for a response, and I didn't have it. And ever since that day, and I tell my team that, all my leaders know it as well, when I ask them a question, I spec it back in numbers. If you don't know it in numbers, you don't know it, right? And that's one of the themes that resonates down. And that's why we're happy, we're pumped. We can have a good time. We can make light of things. We can enjoy the Christmas season, but at the very, very end of it, it's all about bottom line, okay? Our revenue must exceed our expenses, right? And we need to measure that to see whether they're improving or declining. And business is serious, especially when you have shareholders.
Well, 28% EBITDA, almost double the industry benchmarks, buddy. Cannot wait. Look, I'm a shareholder. Everyone knows that because of of a relationship, and I'm in no hurry to dispose of anything because I can't wait to see where you're going to be December 2023, right? Fantastic. And then December 2024. So we're along for the ride with you, and I hope the shareholders at home are watching, are thinking the exact same thing.
Well, listen, on the next quarter when we release them, is it okay if I bring a bottle of Dom Perignon and crack it right here on the screen, George?
Can I be there and you just
100%.
run it through my hair or something like that so we can.
Yeah, well, I've seen that commercial.
Thanks, Russ. I can't wait to have you back, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and your team as well, my friend.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Russ Rossi. He's a CEO at Quizam, trades in Canada, QQ in the US, triple QFF. For those new to the story, that's going to be some of you because you saw these record revenue numbers and you want to know more. Get to the company's profile page on Agoracom. We've got the story neatly laid out for you because it does have two separate divisions. And once you've got that knowledge in hand, head over to the Quizam website, and hopefully today you discovered your next amazing small cap cannabis/tech company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel and never missing another great Agoracom small cap video.